Hello, arcade and electronics enthusiasts. Welcome back to another super duper exciting episode of Classic Arcade Repairs. Today I have a lost tomb. This was made by Stern, and I believe it shares the Stern/Konami pinout. It's a 18/36 edge connector. We're missing something right here that might be the CPU. I don't know. Right here's a Z80, it looks like. I know nothing about this game, this board. I actually looked this game up on MAME, and then I looked it up on YouTube and just watched some gameplay of the real arcade game itself, and this game is pretty awesome. I mean, this game is right up my alley. It is basically, it's a cross between Berserk and Robotron. It has the controls of Robotron, with the look and feel of Berserk. It's pretty cool, I think. This one totally missed me. I don't remember this at all. It must have been pretty rare. We have these connectors are a little bent. Straighten them out a little bit. They're not shrouded. And I don't know if that was original. Oh wow, that just came right off of there. Well, that's not good. This pulled right off the amp. I might have to replace this amp. Yeah, that's not good at all. Interesting. Okay, well, it is what it is. Yeah, Lost Tomb. But it's a really kind of cool looking game. I'm digging it. I dig the look of it. I'm really looking forward to playing this. Although in my setup it's not really playable. Being sideways, but that came right off. Yeah, I can unscrew this. Pop these out. Yeah, the back of this came right off. The back of that amp came right off. And I don't know, that might go right back on. I don't know. Pulled right off of that amp. So, who knows? Who knows, guys? Just put that in this parts heap. And go ahead and remove this. Okay, let me get this all situated and I'll be back. Okay, yeah, just kind of taking a look at this. This board is filthy. really dirty. I'm going to have to, I think I'm going to have to remove this amp and possibly see if I can't super glue, I know this sounds stupid, but super glue this back on or something. You know, I don't know. Yeah, who knows? See what I can do with that. See if I can't get that cleaned up. I'm going to have to remove the amp, clean it up, and then try to, I'm just going to try to glue that back on, super glue it or something, and see if it'll take. Maybe I can thermal adhesive glue it on. That's what I'll try. Anyway, this board doesn't look half bad. All of these jumpers look pretty factory, looking okay. Oh goodness, this has got to be factory. I hope. I don't know. It looks like it's all factory bodge wire. And then really glued up. So we're just going to take it that is the way it goes. And this is factory. Okay. All right, so first things first. I think the first thing I'm going to do is remove the amp. I don't want no testing on that amp. I don't even want to power it up. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this sound amp. Get it cleaned up, clean up the little metal thing that came off of it, and adhesively glue this on. And then by the end of this repair, hopefully it'll be cured well enough that I can solder it back into the board and attach it to the heat sink, and it'll actually transfer heat. That's the ideal. So, and I gotta look into this. Is this supposed to have a chip in it? These look like, yeah, these are 8910s. These are 8910s. These are 8255s, which are input. They do input, I believe. Input sampling, I think. I'm not exactly sure. I have to figure that out. But I don't know if this board itself has its own CPU or not. I don't know. So I don't know what goes in here. But we'll figure it out. All right. So I'm going to get the desoldering gun out, get it heated up. And I think I might just take time and wash these boards, because these boards are super dirty. I mean, they are filthy dirty. And this one here is just full of dirt. This one is this one's even worse. It's just completely full of dirt. I don't know if that camera does it justice of how dirty this thing is. Yeah. But I'm excited about this one. I think this game looks super awesome, to be honest. This is one I wouldn't mind having, this game, because I can see myself having a lot of fun with this. Alright, so let me go ahead and get these cleaned up. Under the microscope, I cleaned and re-glued with thermal compound, thermal glue. That's the word I was looking for, thermal glue. And glued this back plate back on. Pressed it down on there and glued it good. I just used a Q-tip to spread the thermal glue along where it mates with this metal piece. Cleaned both surfaces good with alcohol, made sure they were nice and clean, and then put the glue down and pressed that right down into place. So I will give this a good day to cure. This will be the last thing I do is test sound, so I'll let this fully cure. Okay, our boards are cleaned up. I removed this one socket because when I looked down at the pins inside, this one, the power pin was smashed down in there. And I'm not crazy about these sockets, but the combination, these things look shiny. They look good and shiny. As well as the legs on the ROMs are nice and clean and shiny. So I'm not replacing sockets because I think they'll be a perfectly adequate connection. Cleaned this board up really good. The amp out, of course. And it is missing a Z80, so it needs a Z80. And I have 8 2114 RAMs here, another 2 here, and there are 5 82S16 RAMs down here. So I can actually go ahead and verify all of the RAM. I've already verified all of the ROM. The ROMs are all good. And yeah, so I'll go ahead and verify the RAM, and then we'll put this thing back together, and we'll have known good program and RAM, and that's a good place to start from. Okay, I now have this set all complete and hooked up. I tested all of the RAM chips, and there was only one bad RAM out of the whole lot, and it was one of these 2114s up here. So I put a CPU, a Z80 here. I'm not powering this board, and I don't know if that will keep it from running or not. I'm not powering this board just yet. I really don't know if that'll affect the running of it, or if that'll just be no sound, which I really don't care if there's no sound right now. I'm going to go ahead and fire this thing up like this. Plug it in. And yeah, so we'll see what happens. Actually, this board is not powered up. This board, the power's going to this board, duh. Where does this plug into? How does this board get power? There's a broken cap. It's just a decoupling cap. How does this board get power? Does it come through this? It's like in every other, Stern or Konami game, there's a like a plug that plugs into here and goes to this board. I don't see anything. I don't see anything. So I'm gonna let me back up a minute and see what's going on. How is this thing getting power? Is it actually coming through here? We'll see. Okay, I went ahead and just beeped out between the boards, and power does go through this. Power goes through this or to this board. So I just went ahead and flipped it on, and it seems to be working. Now, is the sound working? We can find out. I can actually tap this. I would suspect I could tap this and send it to my amp that I use. In my computer amp that I use for like Donkey Kong and stuff. Let's see if the sound works. I'm going to try that. Alright, I went ahead and soldered the amp back in. I'm not running this thing long because that amp does get hot. But it works. The thing is, I'll turn it on. Okay. Now I'll coin it up. Hear that? But it won't start. Won't start a game. Yeah, it gets a little bit warm. It doesn't get super hot. But it won't start a game. So, and I've done the obvious, and I swapped these two guys, the 8255 chips, the port chips. I've put new ones in there, and they get the same thing. So we're going to have to find out why this thing won't coin up. Or it'll coin up, but it won't start. So I'm going to get the schematic out and find out what is going on there. Go ahead and turn it off. And yeah, so let's take a look at the schematic. Okay, got the schematic out here, and start 1 is A6, and A is the solder side, B is the parts side. So 6, and my harness has it at 5. So the pinout is not the same as your basic Konami games like Gyrus and Time Pilot. It's not the same pinout. So maybe the Stern stuff has its own pin compatibility, and the Konami's is a little different. I don't know. What I did is I grabbed right here at this 220 ohm resistor, and that is right here. Start 1 A6. I'm grabbed right here at this 220 ohm resistor, so I'm going to ground it right there, and that'll start a game. So let's go ahead and turn it back on. Okay. And let's start. Our coin is the same. Okay, and now I just have to ground this. And it's this outside post. There we go. Hey, I can move around. Well, left and right anyway. Wonder if the button does anything. Yeah, I think it moved me up, actually. Maybe. Yeah, it did. I can't move down, though. The button moved me up. Yeah. Alright. I'm going to have to mess around with this off camera a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy right here. I'm going to clip it onto this ground post, and then I'm just going to touch these 220 ohm resistors here. and see what's what. That's how I'm going to test the inputs, is I'm basically just going to ground those. You can hear the sound works. Now, is there supposed to be music? I think so. So I don't know what that's all about. I'll have to check this game out again, but I do believe there's supposed to be music going on. Okay, I'm going to go through some of the pins. I figured out some of the some of the pin out here. All right. First, we'll do the gun. No, let's first move. Okay, first is down, I think. Yeah, there's down. There's right, up, and left. Let's go back to the right and shoot. Now we'll do the gun. First, I want to move to the right a little bit. Nope, that's up. There we go. Alright, we're just going to shoot the gun now. Come on. Up. Down. Right. And left. Start again. Okay. The whip. This is the whip button, I think. Yeah. Shooting into the wall. Yeah. Alright, it's kind of impossible to play it like that, but it works. Now I just need to figure out what's going on with the sound. The music, I mean. But first I want to check out MAME and check out the music. Alright. Game is running. Unfortunately, I think that amp is dead. It is completely dead right now. If I turn it off, and I hear it chirp when I turn it off. If I turn it on, it'll start up, I'll hear it, and then it fades out and goes to nothing. Hear it? Can you hear that? And it'll fade away and it'll disappear. There it goes. Gone. Yeah. I mean, I can try replacing capacitors before I replace the amp. I'll just replace all the electrolytics up in that area and see. Hopefully that's it. I hate to have to replace the amp. But if we have to, I went ahead and put two new good 8910s in here, and there's no difference. I'm not getting any music at all. So I'm going to go ahead and stop. I'm going to replace some of the electrolytics underneath this area and see if that makes a difference. And if not, I'm going to have to replace this amp, unfortunately. Must have just damaged it when that metal thing came off of it. It must have damaged it. Or it may not have been cooling properly at some point. It may have been broken off already and just wasn't cooling properly and burned up. Who knows? Damaged. It maybe got heat damaged or something. But we'll find out. Regardless, I have a brand new one of those amps that I didn't even know I had, but I do. So, all right, yeah, we'll go ahead and replace some caps and see what we get. See if it makes a difference. I ended up replacing that amp. I'm going to turn it off. I want to get the heat sink up on it. But yep, I replaced these caps. This is the smallest 100 microfarad caps I had, so they'll clear that thing right here. Will clear them. But yeah, I just went ahead and replaced that amp, and it works now. It doesn't fade out, so it's good. But we still have this music issue, so we will figure that out. Alright, I just tested these original 3 capacitors on my LCR meter. And because I wanted to verify that the caps that I replaced were, that doesn't do leakage, but I'm sure these are fine that way. And they were right where they needed to be. These two were like 98 microfarads, and this one was 50 microfarads, so those were good caps. It was actually just a bad amp. This amp was just damaged. So I'm going to go ahead, put this thing back on here, paste it up really good, get some good heat transfer, and yeah. This one, I did get on MAME and played this game, and there is no music. These are just sound generators. There's no music in this game. So this works right how it is. So I'm going to go ahead, put this thing back on it, and do some actual playing, but I can't really play it good because the controls are just not, they're not standard. So it's hard to play it, but I can mess around with it anyway. Put standoffs on this, put this together properly, and go from there. Kind of curious to see what kind of amperage this thing draws on 5 volts. I have my benchtop supply hooked to the 5 volt input, and that goes to the whole board. We won't get no sound or nothing. This is just 5 volt logic. I just want to test the amperage it draws at 5 volts. I've got the power supply actually unplugged. The switcher is unplugged, but I do have this connected so that I can have my video go out to the monitor. So I'm going to slowly just kind of turn this up to 5 volts. Here we're at 3 volts. And we get nothing. Nothing at 3 volts. And it's drawing 2 amps. Now we're at 4 volts. And we change color. Just under 3 amps drawn. And now we're going up. And now we are at 5 volts. And we're drawing 3.5 amps. And it's running. Pretty cool. Yeah. So at 5 volts, we are pulling just under 3.5 amps. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and slowly just kind of back this back down. 4 volts, it's dead. When does it... It's about 4.5 volts it starts working, but it's not too stable, I don't think. But it will work at 4.5 volts. Yeah. I'll just go ahead and turn this baby down. All the way back down to 0. Okay. Alright, I'll go ahead and just remove these. Plug in the power supply. And fire it up. There we go. Yep, I got this thing put back on. I got it on nice new standoffs. I put the original dirty ribbon cable back on, and it seems to be fine. And our amp is still working. I still hear it, so that's good. And I did verify, like I said before, this does not have any music. These just generate the sounds. That's it. So... Alrighty, let's do some little play testing, sound testing, and all that good stuff. Yeah, it sounds good. The new amp is excellent. I got plenty of paste down on that thing. Keep it cool. The surfaces are cleaned. I was lucky that I have replaced that amp. That was the last one I had. I've already bought 3 more on eBay, so I did replace those. I was lucky that I had that. I have no idea where. I don't remember getting that, but it's a good thing I did. Sounds good, though. This thing sounds great. A good, crisp sound. Alright, I'll let this one sit and run for a while. So we cleaned this board setup. It was really dirty. Verified all the software. It had a bad 2114 RAM. It was missing the Z80 right here. The amp was bad. I replaced the caps up here. And I think that's all that was going on with it, if I remember correctly. Yeah. As always, thanks for watching. Such a cool looking game. I don't remember this at all. And I had I played an awful lot of MAME back in the early 2000s and discovered a lot of games, a lot of obscure games. But I did not come across this game at all. And I really like this. This is a cool game. Let me know in the comments if you guys remember this game. Was this just not a very popular game or what? Or was it? I'm curious. I'm just curious. Alright, thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next Classic Arcade Repair. Bye for now, guys.